Fan favorite anti-heroes, the Thunderbolts, get their own film in the latest MCU movie. So today, let's see if it's worth your time. Ensnarled in a death trap, an unconventional team of anti-heroes embarks on a dangerous mission that forces them to confront the darkest corners of their past. The characters within Thunderbolts are fan favorites. I really like them, and it was so exciting to see them in their own film. From Yelena to the Red Guardian, Bucky, Ghost, and John Walker, seeing them all together and watching them navigate their relationship was a lot of fun. Thunderbolts is by far the darkest movie in the MCU, one of the most depressing films. I did not expect this movie to be so emotional and raw when it came to what it wanted to tackle, because by the end of it all, it is a film that tackles depression and anxiety and loneliness in a way that does feel very authentic to these characters. These are characters that have gone through a terrible past, have done terrible things to other people, and it is a time for them to confront all of that, and a time for them to reflect, and a time for them to be the best version of themselves. And I was really impressed with Thunderbolts overall. I mean, it has your generic kind of superhero vibe to it at times, but it's not afraid to embark on a much deeper journey. Florence Pugh is the one that really is like the main focus of this film. Yelena, she is the one that holds this group together. She is going through a lot. She is still recovering from the death of Black Widow, and feels pretty empty and doesn't have the best relationship with her father, the Red Guardian, played by David Harbour. But when all these characters get together, they are all broken. After the events of Falcon and Winter Soldier, John Walker is dealing with depression and being separated from his family. Ghost has gone through a lot as well. These are all characters that are in very similar situations, and they all have to overcome all of that to work together. The performances are very strong. Florence Pugh goes through a lot of changes throughout the film, but when it comes time for her to confront all of the depression and loneliness and not feeling like there's any purpose in her life, that is very strong. David Harbour once again proves that he is one of the coolest characters in the MCU. He is able to give advice, this fatherly advice, but he's so charismatic and energetic, confident within himself, but he also wants to be fulfilled, and he wants to rise to the challenge. And multiple times throughout, it just proved to me why he's such a likable character, and one that I just love to see over and over again. Bucky, still once again really great. He's got that leadership style to the character. Ghost, I didn't feel the most attachment to that character. We understand what she's gone through, especially with Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I feel like that character was at best just like a presence within the film. Like, she was contributed a lot to the movie, but there wasn't a big scene for Ghost to really stand out and understand her journey. And then we have Taskmaster, and Marvel Studios does not like Taskmaster. This movie proves it.
Shut up, Meg.
But Lewis Pullman is a great addition to the Thunderbolts movie. He plays Sentry Bob for most of the film, and what his character represents is that deeper aspect of this movie. He's somebody that has struggled with a drug addiction. He took on this test to try to better himself and ended up with all of these powers. And Sentry's powers are far beyond the Avengers, and no chance of the Thunderbolts actually defeating Sentry. But what he represents of bottling in all your emotions, feeling like you're worthless, like you have no purpose in life, and that void that we see in the trailers of him wiping out everybody in New York, that void is such a strong part of the film, and that in turn allows for these anti-heroes to rise to the challenge and be the best version of themselves and realize like their own dark past and try to find a light and a way to overcome it all so they can help out Sentry as well. And the way that they did navigate Sentry, I thought it was really cool because it felt like a classic superhero origin for the character. Like there was a lot of hype and a lot of like momentum building for the Sentry. And then when you learn more about what he actually represents, it's a like new take for a superhero film. It's not like you're piece by piece kind of classic superhero movie. It's not afraid to be darker and more emotional and raw. Like there were several times in this film that like the heights to the emotional levels were there, and got me a little teary-eyed because of the way that these characters are trying to better themselves. They're all trying to work together. They're understanding that they've done terrible things, but they're trying to better themselves, and that in turn is affecting the Void Sentry. And it's very interesting the way that they are able to play that out, and none of it felt cheesy. None of it felt like they were kind of pushing things and they were like reaching for these fake emotional sequences. They felt earned because the characters have gone through a lot of things in the past. We've seen that in previous entries in the MCU shows or movies, and now we get the chance for these characters to better themselves. And so by understanding what they've gone through, it all pays off in the end for this movie. The action scenes are really great. We have a lot of kind of contained sequences when it comes to the beginning and end of the film, but the visuals are really good. You're not offering up a lot of bright sequences unless it's Sentry's costume or Red Guardian's costume. A lot of it feels like the color grading is much darker, which does match the overall tone of this movie. But the action's filmed nicely. There's a lot of intense sequences. Score also is building momentum. At times it feels like it's slowed down and more dramatic, and at times it's more upbeat when it comes to the action sequences. But I was really impressed with the overall look of the film and that kind of darker tone to it all. But this is such a heavy film when it tackles on depression and anxiety and bottling in all your emotions, and there's like no light at the end of the tunnel, and everybody coming together. How can we help each other? How can we overcome all of this? That's family and friends, and how they're able to help each other. Julia Louis-Dreyfus also shines in this movie. She kind of feels like a classic villain at times, has her own agenda. She wants to manipulate people. The most we've seen for her in the MCU, she's able to kind of pull strings. She's very demanding. She works in this movie. She's a great performer. And in this movie, you understand that she is manipulative. She's demanding, controlling as can be. She pushes people around to get what she wants, and it just moves these characters forward. I also love the meaning of the asterisk, which we were all kind of wondering what it was going to represent, and I thought it was very cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that means moving forward. But this is such a cool entry in the MCU, but also just much darker than I expected. It's more darker and emotional than I expected, but the performances are really good. These are characters that I do care about, characters that I like seeing. I understand they've gone through some terrible things in the past, but these are characters that are trying to better themselves and be the best version of themselves. And the Red Guardian is the one there to kind of hype each other up and give this fatherly advice, and that's where it just feels personal and raw, and it just works overall. I really liked the Thunderbolts. Was a big surprise. I didn't have much anticipation going into it, but it definitely paid off in one of my favorite MCU films currently. I'm gonna go ahead and give Thunderbolts a B+. Thank you guys for watching my review for Thunderbolts, the new MCU film. Have you guys seen it by chance? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming content like this. My name is Justin Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.